Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Mousillon campaign for Mortal Empires. Now today we're starting things off with one hell of a battle against the spam of Stirland. Now if you remember, they came and attacked us at the end of the episode, and we've got on my side William the Terror Lamponge with his entourage, Vlad coming in as reinforcements, and even the garrison from the nearby settlement of Stengart coming in to help too. But against us, we have William's arch-nemesis, Glibfoot Volsbanger, with his army. We got Gelt and his army. We got Marius and his army. And Espe von Draken and her army. Now luckily for me, I noticed that she's not actually riding her dragon, which is quite interesting. She's gone for her horse this time. So it won't be too bad, although, yeah, it's gonna be a fight, ain't it? Anyway, we're going to have to fight it, so see you guys down there. So here we are, guys, on the battlefield as William and Vlad are preparing themselves for one hell of a fight. Now, to give you a bit of an idea how the map is looking right here at the beginning with all the different reinforcements, if we actually pop onto the tactical view a minute, you can see that William's army has been deployed in a fairly standard formation for me at this part of the map. And opposite us is the force led by Glibfoot Volsbanger, William's rival and nemesis. Now behind us, over here, is the garrison from Steingart coming on into position, and up on the top is Vlad and his army. Over for the enemy side, over this section here, is Balthasar Gelt, and over here is a mixture of Espe von Drakens and Marius Leitdorf. So this battle is going to be taking place across different sections of the map as the battle progresses, but the initial fight will be starting here between Glibfoot and William. So let's speed things up a little bit, and to kick things off, I'm actually using Margaret to go forward and try and use the pendulum spell against the enemy units. Now I'm trying to get it so we time it just right, which is why you're seeing it popping back and forth. But I eventually fire it off, and we're able to get quite a few kills going across those spears in the rear. As well as, well, eventually I pass it off. But as you can see though, she's taken an onslaught from arrow fire just then. So unfortunately the Hell Steed takes a bit of damage, and so does she. But she's able to make it back in relatively one piece. Now that spell has worked pretty well for us, and just to showcase, 115 kills with Margaret, so well done her. But now as we get into position here, you can see, if I go back on the map just a bit more, that you got Marius and the initial reinforcements coming from this corner of the map, making their way towards Vlad. We've also got one single unit of spearmen that have decided to turn around and go after Vlad's army as well. But over here we've got Espe von Draken and Balthasar Gelt coming up to join Glibfoot, while their armies slowly make their way onto the battlefield and in position to reinforce. Now likewise, my reinforcements from the settlement are making their way over. Now they're not going to be doing much in this part of the fight because they're going to take a long while just to run into position to try and reinforce. But for the moment though, we're okay. Now, battle is starting off. I've got William blasting away at this unit of spears using a fireball from his ring. And again, a nice hit in it as well, I must admit. Now, as we get a bit closer, you can see Victolos is charged in to engage these spearmen, and William, though, has got other plans. While the rest of the army, as you can see, is charging forward in order to engage, even Aldrich back here is slowly moving into position. William is going to take advantage of the extra speed courtesy of the Foe Seeker skill as well as his horse. If I actually speed him up a second, you can see him outmaneuvering the spearmen to raid in front of him, pushing the archers back, activating that in for the final push as he heads straight towards the enemy legendary lords. Now, in a typical fight, this is not the most ideal of situations to do, but given that he is a close combat lord, and he's going up against two magic users as well as Glibfoot, who's a hybrid character, good at both, but not really good at one. It means that he's going to do relatively okay, even though he's going to be outnumbered. So if we zoom in a little bit, you can see Gelt and Espif about to deal with him. They're going to try their best, but I wouldn't agree when it says their units winning decisively. In fact, if I can bring it out a second, you can see, hang on. Yeah, this is combat even, unit winning decisively, but it says the same for William, so I'm not going to listen to that. Now, as the duel kicks off though, we're going to be getting a bunch of spells being casted by Gelt, and he's really going to go to town on my forces. You can see over here, Gehenna's hounds laying loose, and over here some molten lead falling from the sky. But if I slow things down again, because we're going to be jumping back and forth a bit in this battle. But you can see already things are going relatively well for William and his forces. Over on this side, we've pinned the enemy in place using my men-at-arms as well as a few other units like the Crypt Ghouls. They are kind of getting stuck in position at the moment thanks to Soul Blight being used by Von Draken, but we're doing okay nevertheless. Over here, we've got all my cavalry going to be charging forward in order to first of all go after this unit of archers, and then just go after any units we can get our hands on. My missional targets with some of them was to go after the archers right here, and then we're going to start sending some in to try and reinforce the centre and the right flank, just to try and break things up with some rear charges. Although in the centre we don't really need to worry so much, given the fact that we used the pendulum spell for Margaret. It does mean that they came into battle with a fair bit of damage, although glittering robes adding 60 to their armour is certainly helping things out for them and keeping their survivability up. Now on the left flank, when the game actually lets me catch up, there's a lot going on in the battle, which is why it's taking its time occasionally. Over here, I got my Raylan Hags as well as the Vargulf going after some archers initially, but you can see the reinforcements from Gelt's army coming over the hill here, so I'll be relying on these two to try and pin these enemies in place as they get closer, so we can start finishing off Glipford Volspanker's army here. Now, if I pop over to here, unfortunately we just missed it because I got so much to try and cover in this battle. But I sent Natalie forward in order to use the Purple Son of Xerius to go after some enemy units. In fact, you can see the bodies just scattered on the floor right here between the grass. The yellow of Stirland really makes things easy to hide, doesn't it? And, by the way, here's Marius Leitolf. Nice hat, eh? Anyway, he's a pretty good character when it comes to dueling, as you can see there, 98 melee attack, 59 melee defense. And of course, if he's typically armed with a rune fang. Although I don't actually see it there among his items. It might be there because he's got a magical item, is he not? Hang on. No, he doesn't. He just has armor piercing. So I don't know why he hasn't got it. Maybe because he's only a legendary lord, not a faction leader? I'm not sure. Oh no, that doesn't work with the Viking mechanics. Ignore me. But anyway, as you can see though, what I've got happening over here is that unit of spearmen that was sent back from Volspanker's army has engaged with 2 units of Carnwaves. My Gravegarden and my other ethereal units are running forward. I got Vlad trying to maneuver into position really, because I want him to go after Marius. I don't think that Flo is going to be able to do that good a job. Given, well, despite her inferior nature, she is tired and just not that good a combatant compared to Marius. So she's going to go after this unit of Halberdiers, pin them in place. We're going to be using the Carnwaves then, as well as the Raylan Hags to try and do them. And Vlad is going to take a little bit of time to maneuver past the enemy units in order to go after Marius himself. You can see Natalie up here is about to try and get behind the enemy position then in order to go after this unit of spearmen. A mistake, in hindsight, as you'll see later. But for now though, if I speed things up again so we don't spend all the battle in slow motion. Back with Glipford's army, you can see the centre is basically starting to break already thanks to the charge from the cavalry. The left flank is still going to be holding on in there despite the grey men trying their best. And already we get some news that a lord has been wounded. Gelt has been, cast to the ground. Now, Margaret, who was going after Volspanker initially, but since William was engaged in combat, was taking a bit of damage, so I pulled her out of there, and instead allowed Victorlus to come in and join in the fight. So at the moment now, Espif is actually heavily outnumbered, 2-1 by my 2 close combat characters, so she's not going to be too long for the game. Although I'm trying to spot, where did Volsbanker get to? Because he hasn't been defeated yet. But I can't see him anywhere in the area. Oh no, actually, here he is. Here he is. Alright. So he's actually fighting William in combat. How cool is that? These two rivals, these nemesis, fighting each other. Oh, but by the way, if you're interested in reading a cool short story, check out the previous episode where commenter Alvo Rio left a comment with a short story describing William's feelings about this fight before it happened at the end of the last episode. But as you can see, the two rivals are fighting each other. We've got Victorlos and Espith von Draken going away at each other too. She has managed to regenerate a lot of health, which is why she's still alive, thanks to one of her items. But she's going to be going down pretty soon. Now, as this is going on now, let me speed things up. Oops, we don't need the chat. Let's speed things up. You can see I've got my cavalry now that we've dealt with the center position to try and come over here and help out my Vailian hags. They've managed to pin a number of enemy spearmen in position, although they're about to get rear-charged. So while they're doing that, they're also getting shot at by bowmen, which isn't the most ideal. Ethereal units by their nature are not really the best when it comes to dealing with loads of little attacks. If you charge them into a large heavy unit, like monstrous infantry, they tend to do relatively okay. But when you consider, for example, like, if I use William, for example, using an ethereal nature normally gives something like minus 70%, or even minus 90 to non-magical attacks. So him losing 90% or 70% is a ton of damage. Whereas if you compare it to a unit of archers with only 27, it reduces it down a reasonable amount, but not as much as it would be for a character or a monstrous unit or a creature. So if you got ethereal units that you're fighting, it's best to send off little guys like these to try and wear them down rather than sending your monstrous ones. Unless of course they have magical attacks, then just do so, because then ethereal nature doesn't do anything. Now, speaking of ethereal units, you can see over here we've got Carnwaves and my Vailian hags. Keep pushing that damn speed chat button. Going away at it with Flo over here. Vlad and Marius are fighting one another, although Marius has got some spearmen to try and support. Now, luckily for me though, Vlad is being heavily debuffed during this battle. Every chance I'm getting, I'm using either Vlad's Entrance to reduce his melee attack and defense, or in this particular case, I've managed to get, Natalie to cast Soul Blight in order to reduce the enemy's weapon damage and armor. Now, speaking of Natalie, like I said, she's in a bit of a predicament, as you can see. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough magic at my disposal, even after giving it a little while, to actually try and use a spell like the Purple Sun in order to clear a space. And while I sent some Carnwaves in to try and help the situation a bit, this one actually getting sent and pushed back by that spearman there. Did you see that? Unfortunately, though, it's just not going to be good enough, and between her now crumbling as well, it means that she's soon going to die and actually suffer a final death. Very unfortunate, but it's one of the things of battle, I guess. Now, if we go back to the center a minute and speed things up again, we're about to win the duels with the legendary lords. In fact, I believe Volsbanker has been... Oh no, Von Draken, sorry, has been defeated already. Volsbanker is trying to retreat away, but my lords are not letting him have any of it. And yet another one has been injured. Now, the initial fight now against Volsbanker's force has been cleared up quite nicely. So now I need to try and get my forces to go after everybody else. We've still got a couple of situations here and there, like you can see we've got some units retreating and I want to chase after them as much as I can on this flank, and likewise over here we've still got a couple of units running away, but while I was too busy focusing on the center, it meant that units like my men-at-arms here and the mortars engine kind of get stuck going after the enemy units rather than actually fighting them, or coming over where they would be more useful. Now what's happening over here? Right, it's got these archers getting attacked by both William and Margaret, but I'm trying to keep Margaret out of the fight for the moment because, as you can see, very little health. William's doing pretty well, so I'm happy to let him continue fighting. But one issue we've got is that because of the amount of enemy units that, well, in fact, I believe both sides have got more than 40 units, which is what I'm allowed to use in a big battle like this. So what happens is that once an enemy gets defeated, another one comes on. Now, I was quite lucky up to this part of the battle because the enemy handgunners that were in, I think it was Marius's army, although don't quote me on that. But as you can see, they're starting to make their way onto the battlefield, and these guys with armor-piercing missiles is not as good as fighting archers. Archers are much, much softer and switchier, especially when you're not getting shot at by their handguns. But speaking of arrows, you can see over here the William's army is now going after the second group by Gelt. We're trying our best to do some damage here and there, but it's just trying to get my forces over to support as much as I can. We've got the reinforcements coming in from the garrison, which is quite nice. Aldrich leading them as well. I've got units like the Grey Men. I'm trying to remember to send forward when I can, but I keep forgetting. I've just got so much trying to go on the map. I keep having to slow things down or even pause just to make sure things are going properly without when I can micromanage them a bit. But anyway, if I head back over here a second now, you can see I'm trying to bring troops now to help reinforce Vlad. So we've got the Damned Knights of the Realm charging into these units from the rear. We've got a nice situation now where the Khan Waves have actually finished off their spear unit after how many minutes? But they're able now to swing around here and trying to help reinforce with their terror-causing abilities. Even units like this unit of Halberdiers has managed to hold on for quite some time, despite being heavily outnumbered by what I would say is superior troops. But luckily for me now, between all the extra units coming in and Vlad actually been able to help out now. Even got William is supposed to be turning up at some point. In fact, there you can see him over here in the distance, coming in to help reinforce his a rather unusual ally, if you think about Vlad like that. Anyway, speeding things back up once more. I remember now to send the Grey Men in, and it's just scattered across here and there. I do remember to send other units in to support where needed. Like this unit of Graveguard in the distance, I've sent the Ghouls after them instead and bring these guys in closer. My cavalry over here, my Black Knights, I've been trying to go after every enemy unit they can get their hands on. They are doing a fair bit of damage, but it's just trying not to get themselves too badly shot. I mean, luckily they are shielded, so they do have some protection against missiles. But given the amount of handgunners the enemy has started to bring onto the battlefield, it's not as easy as that. Now you can see already some units of my Knights of the Damned are taking some shots from different arrows. Luckily their fear nature is helping in this case, and the fact that they're trying to move out of range to help out Vlad and his army over there. But you can see it's just scattered around all these handgunner units trying to take shots on my troops and doing a fair bit of damage. What I'm trying to do is really at this point is finish off this situation here, where we've got multiple enemy units still holding my troops up. But once we can clear these up, I want to try and move them into position to go after the enemy handgunners. So we've got units like my Black Knights here trying to charge forward, but as they get into position, these guys start pulling away and some more handgunners start shooting. So these guys will take a ton of damage from the crossfire that's coming at them from both sides. But they're going to push forward nevertheless and try and just keep all these units skirmishing back as much as I can. But they are taking a fair bit of damage in the progress. As they go. Anyway, the Vargulf now charges down here, going after and skirmishing even more archers away, which is nice to see. This, though, turned out to be a bit of an awkward situation. We've got mortars coming in. We've got the original war wagons here, and we've got the ones with mortars here. Now, luckily for me, the mortars don't actually do that much damage. They aren't the most accurate, and spotting them coming onto the battlefield. I've got William all the way back here, whose job is now to try and rush and attack. Given the ranged units in front of us, I figured it would be best just to send William, get them skirmishing away, and allow us to focus on him taking out the war wagons. I could have got someone to go after the ones here as well, But these guys can't move and shoot, so I'm able to try and just go after them. But I need to do it soon because, well, even after 6.5, nearly 7 minutes in, you can see here that we've managed to wipe out a ton of enemy units, but they're still hanging on in there. They've still got just a few less... oh, excuse me. They've still got a few less units than we have. So just trying our best to keep them in place and get them into close combat where we will be able to defeat them. So we've got units like my Knights of the Realm now charging in, getting into skirmish. We've actually got, right here, one of my polearm units retreating. Fair enough, they've taken a fair bit of damage in that fight, but they're going to be able to fight for another day. So we've got these two units of spearmen now making their way over. The equipped ghouls have charged in to try and pin down some handgunners. And really at this point, it's just trying to get these guys to break. That is my main concern. Now, luckily for me, just at this moment, the spearmen break, so I'm able to actually send off Victolos, as well as the Graveguard, to go after these guys, and bring in the other unit to attack from behind, causing them to retreat as well. This has now cleared up the central part of the battlefield, well, at least central, relatively speaking, on the minimap. So I can now start bringing these guys in to actually try and help go after all these enemy units still in the area. Now you can see someone's taking shots with the mortars over towards my lines. Luckily we're not taking a lot of damage from the mortars, like I said. I even got Margaret's going to try and do a bit of help here and there as she can. You can see the pendulum just getting shot across right here. Didn't get a lot of the units, so I had to be careful not to hit my own cavalry in the process. But we managed to get a couple of kills in. Now at this point, I noticed another problem. Hellstorm rocket batteries. And I must admit, I was very glad that they only came on at this stage of the battle, because otherwise things could have been quite different. Now unfortunately, we got the situation where Margaret is only able to fight them by herself, one character at a time really. So the other guns can actually fire their cannons, and they are going to do a little bit of damage, but not that much. I mean, you can see here, 4 deaths already. Not them as accurate. And we are trying to use the miasma just to try and do some more damage. But there we go, some more rockets getting shot across the map towards them. But all I'm waiting now really is for the enemy to break. We've done a ton of damage to them, just to remind you at this point. They've lost now half the number we just showed you. So only a few models left. And I'm just trying to engage as much as I can to try and get them in position. You can see here, like, the mortars engine charging down to skirmish into these. Luckily for me, my polearm units have started to rally. So we'll be able to start slowly getting them in as well. But we've just got across the map, like, Graveguard trying to come in and pin them in place. Cavalry trying to do it, my characters. Any fast-acting units are just trying to move in. But it is at this point, you can see it, all the enemy flags are starting to flash grey, and a chain rout occurs. Victory is mine, and I must say, I'm quite happy with the amount of casualties we took compared to the enemy, although we did suffer some losses, as you'll see on the campaign map. But for now though, I'm going to spend my time chasing down as much of the enemy as I can before they retreat off the battlefield, so see you guys in just a second. So there we have it, a decisive victory, although it wasn't without losses. You can see in William's army, for example, we lost 1 unit of our Black Knights, and Vlad, well, we jumped straight past, actually lost Natalie, Le Saracen. If you remember during the fight, unfortunately she got pinned in position, and despite my best efforts to try and get her out of the melee, it wasn't enough, and she got turned into a vampire pincushion by a unit of archers, if I remember, away from the fight. But we managed to win. We wiped out about 3/4 of the enemy's army with a few losses, but we'll be okay about those. And then it's just really a case of deciding what to do. And I think dominating the captives will be our best course of action. Now, one advantage as well, weakening the enemy's forces as much as we have, and the fact that the majority of my army, like William for example, is actually in friendly territory, means that between the Red Duke, Vlad, and William, we should be able to wipe out Stirland's armies once and for all. All we need to do though is just get to our turn. Oh, Dowie Wattox. So this army has attacked Blackstone Post, but thanks to us fortifying the position, it's going to be a pretty straightforward fight. Goodbye. Can't believe actually how close it was. We took a few losses and lost a unit of Crypticals. But luckily it's just a garrison settlement, we'll get it back easily enough. I might as well just get the Dark Magic, eh? And, just like that, it's now our turn. So, first of all, a failed attempt at wounded, not a wound and a tape of failure. But, yeah, Ventrix okay, fortunate. Corpse Thief, Eustache is back. We got the Knight's Pass, the disappeared happening. Skaven business, unfortunately. And also Natalie has been defeated. Let's just keep popping through the rest of these. Right. So first of all, since we're here, let's start with Malabad. Now I could actually just get him to go straight to Guggenheim. Or we can push, in fact, wait a minute. Oh no, we have actually secured all of Stirland. Oh, in that case, I might as well just go off to Guggenheim. We're not going to be trespassing in any territory that I'm aware of. So let's just get him over here.
Destroy them.
Yeah, I'll auto-resolve that, I think. Wow, that's a few kills, eh? Right. Do I really need this one, though? I suppose it would be useful to have. Yeah, we'll take it, sure. There we go, another carrion, where he's dead. And Guggenheim is under our control. I'll keep the guardhouse. The barrow I'm gonna give... No, we'll keep the barrow, I guess. We'll try and get some surplus growth until we can upgrade it. And then what I'll do then is probably... Oh no, we might as well just do it now. I was gonna think about building the Balefire Brazier once we got to level 3, but we might as well do it now while we can. So, there we go, that's Malabad sorted. Be back up to full strength in 2 turns. Vlad, unfortunately we have lost Natalie, but hopefully now we'll be able to go after some of these enemy forces, especially if we switch back to normal stance. So, Gwenstadt, we could actually take Gwenstadt. What's the garrison like here? Very weak.
King of Darkness.
What I'll do then... Yeah, William's not going to be able to make his way over. We've still got... a reasonable army somewhere here. Colt Becker. Oh right, so these are the handgunners that managed to make it off the map during that battle.
I will not obey.
Okay, what I'll do... I'm gonna get Vlad to head over to Gwenstadt. Yeah, might as well now. Stopped him too late. Alright, so you do that, and take Gwenstadt back. Alright, go for all of these. Alright, now Duke. Let's have some fun. Alright. If we do this, we can just wipe out all 3 of them in one fell swoop, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Oh, we lost the first company of the Restless Slain. Oh, that sucks. Oh well, we'll just have to get them back. Alright. Don't even get much options really with what to do with the captives. Right. There we go. Everybody now has lost 1 unit. Now let's just have a look. Could give you some more knights, I guess. Oh, we can actually give you cryptars. Okay, that's good to know. Okay, skeleton warriors, peasant bowmen. Okay, we'll just raise some dead instead. So, a unit of you guys. There we go. And what I'll do... Right, there we go. So, now we've got the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd companies of the Restless Slain. So that's the Duke back up to full strength. William... What did you lose from the fight? Oh, you lost the unit of Black Knights, didn't you? So... Who? Black Knights with Bardin. That would be a good upgrade. Let's go ahead and get a unit of you. And... Right, we definitely still need to give these guys names, don't we? Alright, I'll do that at some point. I will remember. Right, William at the meantime though. Alright, Fort Soll is now secure. We've taken all the territory here. The only thing really left to go is after is Einschatten. In fact, Duke can go for that right now. Let's have a quick look what they've got. Oh, just a crappy garrison. Right, I'm gonna risk it. Okay, that was good. Right, that's that taken. That should now be all of Stirland's territories taken. In fact, if we can find that last surviving army...
Deliver your missive and then get from my presence.
Let's have a look. Yeah, no territory left. It is now mine. Wykeland's actually only got one territory left. What's been going on up here, I wonder? Huh. Okay. Harbingers of Doom. The Prophesized War. Alright, bloody Corsairs. Well, on the plus side, at least our reliability is going up a little bit. We're now low, instead of very low. But still annoying that it actually happened, you know? But anyway, that should be most of the armies now moved. Alright, I'll just let them have a chance to rest up, really. I'll tell you what, we'll get you across over here. And because we now need another vampire to join the army, let's have a look. Master of the Black Arts, Dark Majesty. Given that as given her one use spell of Spear Leech. Dark Majesty, we could always go for this one. But we've already got that with Margaret. So yeah, let's stick with the Vampire of Death. And sure. I'm gonna go for Master of the Black Arts. We'll need to level her up, so we'll start with Spear Leech, get the replenished troops. And let's see, let's go for that one. This one. And that one. So we can put us straight then into, eventually get in the fully upgraded powerful weapon, spells I mean. Now what else we've got? Still got one more turn to go before we can give William his Hippogriff. But in the meantime, let's give you Deadly Onslaught at this point. Aldrich will gain Arcane Conduit. Finally, we've got a character with that. Okay, Vlad, I'm going to give you Wind of Death straight away, just because we already got a bunch of... well, thanks to Lawmaster, it's already a little bit cheaper. Once we can upgrade it, that's going to make it even more cheaper. So yeah, we'll go for that with you. Alright, let's give you 2 points in Survivalist. Emily, I'll give you Arcane Conduits. Alright, Vendrick. Vendrick's just been having fun down here. But let's see if we can injure that Warlock. That's another Soul Kiss. You... Blood Kiss, I mean. You can do that. You come here. You stash... as tempting as it would be to go after Talabeclan's captain here, let's take the opportunity while Stirland is still alive to go after Arrogant. Like so. Kill him off. There we go. Right, now that should be everybody. Now we do need to still finish off these guys. So Dural Durak, what's he have? Warbands, Hearthguards with halberds. Okay, that's actually a pretty easy army to deal with. I was expecting it to be much worse than that, given what we faced from them before. Right, you're going to retreat, but we should be able to still attack him. And finish him off. There we go. Goodbye. Alright, 753, 4%. Let's take that. And for defeating Dural Durak, we get extra starting amount of Winds of Magic. A very good choice for a character like Nicolette. Alright, that should be everybody now. What I will do... I didn't get a chance to do it last time with my characters because we ended things with the battle. But at the end of this episode, what I will do for definite is go through and give all the items out where needed. So we haven't got a massive amount, but we've got a few we can hand out here and there just to help things out a bit. So in the meantime, let's just give you Some extra magic drop chance. That. Sure. I'll give you that for shield. Given what happened to her predecessor, I think that might be a good idea to give her that. We'll give 12% ward save for that. I'll give you a potion of strength, because you never know. Trickster shard. There we go. Okay, commandments available here in Stirland. We'll upgrade that, of course. Flooded clay pit, not really needed. I'll go ahead for the snail hunting grounds, though. We'll upgrade that. Let's continue trying to get some growth. As for here, I guess I'll do the same, really. Alright, more upgrades. Fieldorf. No, what we'll do, we'll upgrade Steingart. Because that way then we can ensure that we have walls around the settlement, which would be a nice defensive measure. Over here, Ubersway can be upgraded too. Alright, let's give that. I'll get the defenses, we'll get that. Get this too. Sure, we'll grab that. Okay, Dookie boy. What to give you? You've basically now got all your magic, with the exception of the Gaze and the Gash. But let's be honest, he doesn't really need it. I'll go for an Aura of Supremacy and we can start working on upgrading our units themselves, make them more powerful. Mina, let's give you Dark Benediction. Bulgars can have Blade Shield. Lorraine, at this point I really don't know what to give her. We'll just have to give her more scouting and start working down the campaign skills. Len Malabat. Still want him to become a good combat character, and we also still need to try and work our way up towards renowned and feared of everybody. Just fit in for the characters, you know? Let's give you Deadly Blade, because that will help things out. Do you actually have a magical item? No, apparently we've only got one magical sword. Okay, Nicolette. That could be useful for the construction cost debuff. But let's focus on her other ones, because... In fact, let's go for magic. We already get magical reserves. Let's give her the Winds of Death. Just because, sure, why not? Vendrick, let's give you Ghostly Howl. Basant, let's give you magical reserves. Matthias, Blade Shield. Eustache, we'll just give you Precise at this point. You know what? I actually feel kind of bad for this. So this guy, Ricard Hedwig, decided to wait long enough to get some heroes to join his army, such as Legless here, and then attacked Grenstadt. Bearing in mind that Vlad is inside the settlement, we've got a couple of men in the garrison, but still, we've got a pretty large army at our disposal, and yet the balance bar is still not giving it as much as I would have liked. But we'll just do that. Took 36 losses, well, 202 losses, what? Oh, that is madness. Legless here, 88 kills, Jesus. I should have fought that bloody bound myself. These incursion armies, they try their best, but as long as you're, fortifying your positions, things like this happen. A lot. So we'll go ahead, take a decisive victory. Not really sure what to do with these survivors. Suppose we might as well get some extra dark magic from them. And just like that, it is now our turn. Now unfortunately I didn't notice this. Quelk had managed to actually get Vendrick this time. No doubt using some sort of magical blade that's caused her to temporarily dissipate, but she sure will be back soon, don't you worry. So Vlad's picked up that. Stirland has now been destroyed, finally. And we picked up Blasphemous Disciples. Okay, this is on a stage on the way to decipher the Hekaran manuscript, so this is going to give us extra money from towers and libraries. Killed in action. Right. Wait. Right. Now, I don't know why we've ended up all the way down by the Golden Tower. Let's get ourselves back up to here. Now, what I want to do this time is, we've got 52,000, right? And given our massive amount of income, I want to start a new army. Now, as I've talked about before, I want to do a Strigoi themed army. And what I'm doing at the moment is having a look to see where the most amount of casualties have taken place. Because I want to try and get some creatures like the Terrorgeist and that in, we can't recruit them naturally. We can only do them through the Raise Dead mechanic. And we need somewhere with a lot of casualties to have enough dark magic insaturating the earth in order to do it. So out of our options, I think Paravon is going to be our most likely place. Or Baston, potentially. Alright. What have I done with Baston, by the way? Got the Lodge. Haven't done... We've got this, but it's not going to provide us any upgrades suitable for a Strigoi army. So, sure, we'll do a hero Paravon. So we need a Recruit Lord. And we're going to go Bloodlines for this. Now, I know there's the option here to recruit a Strigoi Ghoul King, but from my understanding, it just gives you a fairly standard character. Whereas going for the Bloodlines Strigoi, it gives you a bunch of unique skills and stuff. So we just need to find... Here. Marius Beset, Bestial Juggernaut. Extra armor piercing damage for bestial units, Vargulf Schools, Passive Frenzy, and Strider. Those are really cool. Okay. So, let's grab you. And you're going to lead the army. Now, we do need some characters, so I don't really know what... Because we can't recruit anything that suitable for a Strigoi vampire. We could go for something a bit interesting. A Damsel of Beasts. You know what? I can make this work. I imagine this particular damsel, Laurel Koldek, has been sort of corrupted by the, joining Mousillon. And I like this idea that the other, like the ghouls and that in the army, are a little scared of her because of her control over beasts. So things like the Terrorgeist and that, despite being, undead constructs, as well as the crypt horrors, she can still control that sort of animalistic aspect, enough to not make them attack her. So, yeah, I can see that working. I'll give him one of these. I probably want a character like a White King or something like that, just to add things into. The only thing is, where would I be able to recruit one? Can get one here, but do we have enough? Yes, we can pick up one more. So we can pick up Zachary LaBelle with a bunch of stats, or Strategist, extra casualty replenishment, and campaign. Despite having a strong going to be quite useful, I think having a Strategist with the extra casualty replenishment will be quite useful. Especially as, given that we're going to have a bunch of Strigoi units, like Crypt Horrors and that, they're not the most armoured. So having something like that could help us out. But then on the other hand, also having a really powerful character would it be useful too. I'll tell you what, our casualty replenishment is pretty good right now for across the armies. Once we focus on the Undying Hordes, if we can get that, for our character. Nah, let's go for Jean-Clamet Wormkiller. Just the name as well is pretty cool, you know? So, we'll sort you out shortly. We could maybe go for a Necromancer as well. I mean, it would be to justify us picking up a few units that aren't, ghouls. We just need a place to recruit them. If I was a Necromancer, where can I get recruited? Bordelot? Nope. Tap room? Are you... Is the game honestly trying to tell me I don't have a tap room anywhere nearby? Come on, what about here? Necromancer, thank you. And we got 14 up to as well. Okay, determined, hold the line, knowledgeable. Sure, we'll go for Etienne Salvior. He'll make his way over and then to join up with the army, and we'll start. We haven't got anything that's going to actually increase these stats. So let's just have a quick look. Extra local recruitment capacity. Might work. Now, on the other hand, we don't actually have the things here. Like, we don't have a sacred swamp to be able to recruit them here. So yeah, we'll probably want to actually move them down to Massive Oracle. But, while we've got the ability to, let's have a look at that way he's dead. Terrorgeist. Vargolf. Alright. Get some Vargeist. We want some Crypt Horrors. Okay. Corpse cards? Potentially, but I'd rather fill it out with some more Crypt Horrors if we can. Alright, we could go for these now. Well, might as well get a couple. Alright. Could go for Hex Waves. Nah, well, I want to get some Cavalry though. But we'll leave it for now. We'll grab those. Now, Regiments of Renown, we're going to go and get a unit of you in it. Oh, can we not only get one? Oh, yeah, we've only got one Manticore left. Okay, we'll grab you. And I'll get the Hungry as well. So there we go. We've got our 4 units, and we'll try and add to them as time goes on. We could possibly move over to... Oh, no, it's Power of On, isn't it? Yeah, same region. That's why we were able to do it. We've got like 10,000 bodies nearby. But there we go. That's all of you guys now done. Okay, Nicolette, I'm going to get you to come and deal with Arak World Eater. Oh no, hang on. Why not? Who are you? Oh, it's just the Beastman. Okay, I thought that was a rebel army. It doesn't matter. Alright, we'll move you over and then to try and deal with these guys. Is there a way for me to get over a bit more quickly?
I go hence.
So, you can go over there. Check out the corpse on the way. You can come over then and join up with Vlad.
So be it.
Like so. Alright, you move around. Okay. So we could actually push forward if we wanted to into Ackendorf and maybe go down into the Southlands, but I'd rather focus my attentions on the north. So what I'll do is I'll get Vlad to make up his way up towards Castle Drakenhof. If we grab the Duke... I'm actually gonna... Yeah. I'm actually gonna get the Duke to make his way back to Bretonnia. What I'll actually do, thinking about it, we'll get him down towards Fort Soll. We'll push down this way. See about going after some of the Skaven, and then we might be able to try and swing around to Carcassonne. So with that way then we can get rid of the Skaven of Clan Squire at the same time. I think that could work out. So yeah, we'll get you to do that. Malabad can help continue to stay in the area, maybe even push down... Because we got... Who are these guys? Mulder. If I had to guess, I'd say Mulder's taken Nagenhof as well. Bakavan, I remember why it is up here, so we might have to push through the territory anyway. But yeah, we'll push over towards here. 3,900 dead from the assault on Needlin. Alright, let's give you the Brazier. Might as well start spreading vampiric corruption where we can, eh? Alright, William can make his way up towards here as well. In fact, we'll make you march through here. So you can join up with your buddy then, Vlad. We'll get you, Eustache, to make your way over to here to search the ruins. I mean, if we need to fight Clan Mulder, let's have a look. Level 11. Spineless underdog thing. I mean, I can't really tell, but... Oops. Whoopsie. Sorry, where did you guys go again? Bretonnians, Chaos, Grand, Mulder. They got 13 regions. Looks like they've managed to expand into maybe even Norska. Yeah, Drakebeard's around here, so, I mean, that's, Karak... Oh, not Kazakarak, oh, God. Drakebeard, Unquims, Fat One, Karakadrin, that's it. So, yeah, they've been doing extremely well. Although, 20... Wait, you've done even better. What have you been doing? Oh my god, they've conquered all the Southlands. 444. Oh my god, I'm so surprised they haven't actually declared war on us yet. Wow. Just, wow. Oh. They actually like us.
No evil do I serve the Lady of the Lake.
Okay, I mean, we could eventually maybe even claim him as a vassal. I mean, I don't know if I will, but it's nice to have that option.
Bow
What about
before the
you?
rightful lords of the realm.
Sure.
I must protest.
Oh. But like that's because of the research that we've done for the technology, as you can see, giving us the plus 100. So, still got a little way to go, but that's pretty cool. I didn't expect that. Right. Just double check. Anybody else now I haven't moved yet? No, we're all good. Okay. Let's go ahead and spend some more money. We've got 37,000 dark magic. So we'll go ahead and upgrade that. Okay, Fort Arbenstein. Let's give you Sacred Swamps. Where are we? Just to give us a bit more cash from that. We'll grab that too. Get that. Get that. Okay, Moot's all okay. Guggenheim's going to be alright. Okay, Flensburg. Let's see. Could go for some more swamps just to increase it, but no, we'll go for defenses. Okay, Stirland, we'll do the same here and here. Alright, Fort Soll is okay. Known. We'll upgrade the brazier, just to spread some more corruption. We'll grab that. That and that. What next? Bloodkeep. We'll upgrade this. Get that as well. And that. That is 2. Okay, that's used up all money now. Okay. Quickly do these. So, now that we've done that, let's have a look. Going for the Knights, I think, would be our best option with you. Duke or Cassine. Still think it'd be good to focus thing, but no, we'll continue working on your magic. We'll give you magical reserves. Then I'll probably go for Wind of Death. Okay, so this is a Strigoi vampire. So, yeah, see here? This is the unique skills that we can pick. So, I have to guess. We get to pick either one or the other, because they're both available at level 10, but we don't know yet. Monstrosities of More for reduced upkeep for Crypt Horrors. Okay. I mean, they're pretty early on, but it's still a couple of good things here. Let's go for Restless Dead, and I'm going to just go completely on the Undying Horde so we can keep our replenishment up. Okay, this is our Damsel. We'll grab that. Let's see. This does all characters in range. Getting them extra physical resistance will be handy for a, ghoul thing army. And then we'll go for the Amber Spear, just because, why not? Jean Clamé will give you Hellsteed eventually, but we'll get that next level. We'll grab that for you in the meantime. We'll grab 2 levels here, and then we'll just go to town on your combat skills. So, get that, get that. We'll give you Foe Seeker, and then we can work down the side of the tree too. Alright, you potentially get a Lodestone Corpse Cart later on, but for now we'll just focus on that. We'll give you that for the boost, so I'll give you that just in case. Give you that just because you never know. And we'll go for Master of the Dead 2. Right. And we got another Blood Kiss we can do. So we could actually awaken the second Strigoi one, which gives more vampiric corruption everywhere. But I kind of want to hang on for either this one to give us the reduction in upkeep. We'll go for this one. Well, maybe not so much that one. Campaign line of sight is not that big a deal. I mean, it's okay. It's a skill. And all Vampire Lords start with a Barded Nightmare. Yeah, I'd rather go for the upkeep. Oh. I didn't actually expect this. So Tretch Craventail has come to Fort Soll with an army at his disposal. And he's come specially prepared with the Burrowing Behemoths. Huh. Now, bearing in mind, because we're fighting this as a fort battle, and the fact that it's not the Undercity like it was when we originally took it, it means that these guys, as far as I'm aware, will not be able to attack the walls and smash it down. So they might be able to go after the gates, which is probably what they're going to end up trying to do. But I think it could be worth having a fight. Yeah, let's fight the battle. Let's see how we do. So here we are, everyone, at Fort Soll as we prepare to defend the walls against the Skaven attack. Now I have to admit, going into this battle, I was very unprepared for facing an army like what the Skaven has brought to this fight. So just to slow things down a minute and remind you, they've brought not just one or even two, but 6 bone behemoths scattered across the length of the army. We've also got other units like the mutant rat ogres, brood horrors, units that I have faced before. But units then like the Deathglobe bombardiers and the large amount of weapon teams they've got meant that the AI did things rather differently than I expected, and not in my favour, to say the least. So, if I speed things up now back to normal, you can see that my bowmen have opened up with their initial volleys into enemy units. I have got the towers, as well as the bowmen, trying to mainly target, I believe, this unit of storm vermin, thinking they were the biggest threat. God, was I wrong. Anyway, on this side, you can see that the Deathglobe bombardiers have opened up, as well as the Warpfire throwers. They're going to do a fair bit of damage, especially to this unit of Graveguard, much to my disappointment. I didn't even notice for a little while until I looked and thought, hang on, why is that number so low? But yeah, as I've used them in my own campaign, really does a ton of damage. So, while that's going on, we've got the Mutant Rat Ogre charging in over there. Enemies trying to spawn in units using the menace below, but they made the mistake of going after my Black Knights, so not really the best choice of target for them. Now, here is where I will point out one of the first mistakes I made in this battle. You'll notice that this bowman behemoth was digging, and if I hover over, the fort is taking damage. Now, maybe it's because in a typical fort battle like this, you cannot build siege equipment as the attacker, but I had it in my head then that I couldn't smash down, well, the enemy I should say, couldn't smash down the walls, so I would have been fine. Yeah, that was a bit of a mistake. So that's what the bowman behemoths are doing on both sides. They're just digging away at the walls and damaging it quite a bit. And because of the angle, I can't even do much to stop them. Now this did help a little bit. One of those Deathglobe units has decided to climb up the walls right here, where luckily for me, I had a unit of Graveguard just sitting around waiting to slaughter any rats made up on the walls. So lucky me. Now over here, you can see with the mutant rat ogre about to smash the doors down, I figured it would be best to send in the Graveguard. Now this is the unit led by my commander, so actually let me slow things down a bit because I'm going to show you my second mistake in a second. So yeah, these guys were going to do a fairly good job against the mutant rat ogre and stop it from actually smashing down the gates. We have taken some damage, but not a lot. But this is where I'm going to start making my next mistake. You can see all my cavalry units, all my Black Knights, and what I'm doing is trying to march them out through the gates. The reason being is because I figured I might be able to try and do something similar to a previous battle I'd done with, I think it was against the Empire, up at one of the other forts. But if you remember, what I did was wait for the enemy to engage a lot of the infantry on the wall, and then I sent out all my cavalry units outside the gates in order to chase down the enemy's war machines, chase down their cavalry, their ranged weapons, and so on. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out, not just because they got stuck here, but because, compared to a more typical army that would have the infantry trying to climb up on the walls, these guys didn't, did they? So instead, I've just got to deal with a ton of bowman behemoths, brood horrors and that, which my cavalry aren't really designed for. Now I did spot initially that we had units like the Deathglobes here, as well as a few weapon teams further down, so I figured we can at least try and charge them out and go after those weapon teams. But instead, it's caused the enemy to chase me down with storm vermin over here. We've got units then behind me as well, going to be getting involved. And yeah, not the most ideal situation, especially as my units got stuck coming out the gate. And the Beaten Rat Ogre managed to change its mind about running away and actually came out. So yeah, you can see now the Bowen Behemoths charging out, the Brood Horrors, or the Storm Vermin. I did manage to get the charge in, to be fair, against the weapon teams down here, with at least one or two of my cavalry units. But as the enemy's army was starting to surge straight towards them, and some of them did get stuck back around here, I figured, right, how am I going to deal with this? So, for whatever reason, this is where my next mistake came in. Instead of trying to do something like with these guys, pulling them back inside the castle where they wouldn't be able to get through the gates, I decided instead, when I realised my cavalry were taking some damage, to retreat all of my knights down to the bottom of the map. What I was hoping to do with this tactic was to get the enemy to chase after me, where hopefully we would keep ahead of them with our faster speed, although, as you can see, the Bowen Behemoths are actually faster. But the plan was to get them down here, get the enemy to chase after us, and then try and split off to get two in each direction so they can run around and get back inside the gates while the enemy is still trying to chase after them. Didn't quite work out, to say the least. Now, these guys did initially make their way down here, although this Behemoth was able to catch up with this unit, which is why they stopped. But these guys managed to make their way down to the final position. I believe at this point, though, my unit that was stuck up here has actually crumbled and been destroyed, so not ideal. Now, I did have this unit of Graveguard that was holding the gate originally, chasing after an enemy unit. You can see it just back here, but they can't make up their minds if they're staying or going, so luckily for me, they just keep running. Now, I sent them back though because this Mutant Rat Ogre has returned to smash down the gates, and has done a bit more damage. And speaking of damage, this was the other thing I wasn't prepared for. Luckily though, I had kept an eye on the wall, so I didn't lose my unit of Graveguard here, who was originally stationed on this part of the wall. So I pulled them down, and they're going to be ready to hold the ground. Now, I thought they were going to attack initially, but it's not. Instead, it's going after this section of the wall instead. But now that the walls have been broken open, it means that the enemy are going to surge in with their powerful Bowen Behemoths. This is a tactic I'm definitely going to have to try and remember for when I fight with my Pestilence campaign in the future. Now, to just showcase what you can see back here, you'll notice that the other units of Black Knights has now been destroyed, and so is this one, after a good shot at with the fire throwers. So out of all my cavalry that I sent out, only one unit has managed to survive. The enemy has managed to kill off, 210 knights between their own weapons and the crumbling happening over here. So yeah, not the most ideal of things. But anyway, speeding things back up to normal, I should say. If I head back to where the breach has occurred, we've now got our second hole in the wall. The Behemoth is now charged in, and combat has been relatively even. Although Tretch Craventail coming in has actually swung things quite a bit in the favour. I am trying to hold it with what I've got, so I've got some Graveguard here and here, and even got some coming off the walls here to try and help. But it's just going to be a case of trying to hold this section as long as I can. But don't forget though, we have got enemies digging other parts of the wall as well. So if I hover over here, you can see 53, 46, 70%. And now that my cavalry has been dealt with, the Behemoths are back to try and finish the job. Not ideal at all. Now here is my next mistake. Mutant Rat Ogre is running away, and I thought, right, it's going to keep routing, it'll be fine. So in a minute, I'll send my Graveguard over to try and support the breach in the walls over there. Forget not realising though that this thing is going to come back any minute and start going after my field trebuchets. So, not the best thing to be happening either. Now, concerned about the walls being broken again, I've brought this unit of Graveguard down, and trying to keep the even smaller one that suffered all the damage from the Death Globes up here on the tower just to try and get some protection from any missile attack, and allow the tower to try and do whatever damage it can. It's not going to do a lot, but I was trying to help here and there as I can. But then we get another breach, with another 2 Bovine behemoths about to come in. Or at least, I could have swore they did. Maybe the replay is not following things 100% accurate? Who knows? Anyway, you can see the Graveguard again in position here. Oh no, that did work, because yeah, I've ordered them in. But I wasn't sure at this point, were they going to try and smash down even more of the gates, or they were just waiting for their buddy to turn up. In fact, you can see now they're making their way over. Another wall gets destroyed thanks to this behemoth. And the fight, though, just continues over here, where I am trying my best to hold the ground. You can see all these Storm Vermin, Clan Rats are charging in. Death Runners have come in and started to do some damage. Done a fair number of kills as well, impressively so. I've got my Black Knights though trying to charge in just to do what damage they can. But it's not the most ideal of situations. Gates are now destroyed thanks to another behemoth. We're taking damage to our armor. Units are trying to hang on the best they can. But you can see my numbers are diminishing over time. And as the behemoths are now continuing to do more and more and more damage, it's just not looking good for us. You can see already a couple of my Graveguard units have lost their morale, so they're starting to crumble. And soon that's going to be happening to all of my units. So, just to show everything else that's going on, one Brood Horror has managed to make its way through the gates. I believe that was the one that destroyed it. The Bowmen have run out of arrow fire. The situation over here is pretty bleak, although we did have this one unit still standing. We've got these guys trying to chase after the Mutant Rat Ogre and became so close to killing it. So close. But, as you'll see later, it wasn't quite meant to be. But, at this point in the battle, I realised we were going to lose. All I could do is basically see about killing off as much of the enemy as I can. Which, when you're fighting that in battle, not exactly the easiest thing to do, is it? God, they look disgusting, don't they? Anyway, another part of the walls has been breached yet again, and another section. These behemoths have just been going to town on the walls. But, at this point though, units have started to crumble across the map, disintegrating completely at this point. And all my human units, like the bowmen up here, are routed. So, it ends things with a close defeat. I think the game has given me too much credit doing this. Looking back at the battle in hindsight, I did make a few mistakes, like with the knights charging out way too soon. I think it would have been better if I got the enemy to actually come inside the walls a bit, held them in place with the, Graveguard, and then charged them out through the gates then in order to go after them for rear attacks. But instead of just sacrificing them, getting them to run all the way down for no good reason. Finishing off the Mutant Rat Ogre didn't happen, which meant it was able to do a little bit of damage against my, trebuchets here, but otherwise just caused itself a bit of a hassle and a distraction, and I think in hindsight I shouldn't have allowed the Graveguard unit here to take as many casualties from the Death Globes as they did. I should have done what I usually tend to do in this situation and just sort of move them down to this position here, so the enemy can't really get them because of the wall being in the way. But anyway, we have lost. It's time for us to go back to the campaign map. So, that didn't go as well as I expected. But we managed to get a few casualties in. Just unfortunately, we didn't wipe out any full units. Even the Mutant Rat Ogre managed to get away. Ugh, that bugs me. Right, let's watch as they take Fort Soll. And luckily for me, I was going to send the Red Duke down there anyway. So, yeah, you'll be able to clear up Tretch once again. Okay, so that was an interesting end turn phase. First of all, as you can see, Fort Soll has been taken. It's unfortunate, but what can you do? Margaret has actually been wounded by a Clan Strigoi agent. We've got a call to war happening at Torves. Doesn't matter to us. Oh, Jean Clamet has been wounded. Okay. Defeat this army in battle. Vanessa, yes. Okay, Paravon. Right. So not only did we have a couple of our agents wounded, but the biggest thing was actually over in Athlone. Now, I clicked through it when it came up, so I didn't really see what happened. But, sorry, let me rephrase that. I clicked through it rather than talk about it. But, yeah, as you can see, the Sisters of Twilight came out from Togovan to attack Marius's army. Now, I was able to retreat, so didn't have to worry too much, but I think what I will do is pull him inside the settlement, and we're going to get all of his characters to come and join him. So, there's you. Let's grab onto in to make his way over. Unfortunately, our Worm Slayer, Jean Clement, was actually injured, so we can't do much about that. Is there anything we can try and add to your army in the meantime? To be honest, not really. I mean, obviously there's a few things we can pick up, but in terms of like wanting to try and get something... In fact, hang on. Oh no, that is in Power of 1, right. We'll probably have to move over to like Baston in order to try and get some more units. But that's just going to run the risk of... Well, I suppose we could. If we pull back here... Right. We'll pull back here. Use the Raised Dead and have a look to see what else we can pick up. So we can pick up another cool horror unit. Crypt horrors, I mean. And I think I will take advantage and try and get some more typical troops, like the Graveguard and that. So these guys could represent the personal retinue of Jean Clement. So they can join in like that. And I think that could be everybody, more or less. Definitely want to get my hands on some Grey Men. But we're not going to be able to recruit those here. We probably would have been able to do it back in Power of 1, could we not? Oh no, we couldn't actually. Where would we need to go? We need the monstrous creatures, the swamps, so we probably have to go to Massive Orcal. Right. That's okay, we'll get him to swing down this way, and potentially do it. Battle Quillis 2000, not exactly a lot, but it might be something. In the meantime, I'm going to grab Nicolette, and I'm going to start moving her down. I want to make sure we have someone in position to be able to help out if needed. So we'll force march her to Montfort. Aiden can just continue doing his thing over here, so going to unmount. Alright, you are going to join up with Vlad, so let's get you in here first. Like so. And then... Alright, are you rebels? No, you're the Ugma tribe, right. So let's be honest. The situation up here is going to start looking like it's going to be Clan Mulder taking these settlements. We all probably want to go to war with them in order to take those territories back and push forward into the northern parts of the Empire. But at the moment, I think I would like to just kill off the last remaining Imperial forces facing us. So if we get Vlad to get up there with... No, in fact, we'll get Malabad to make his way up. If we can get you, though, to come this way instead... Just so we don't have to worry about taking any diplomacy problems. We'll get you over here. You go... Oh, no. Go this way, go this way, go this way. Alright. You can meet up with Vlad over in Eschen. And go from there. Eustache, I wanted to come over here so you can come and search the ruins. We know it's Clan Mulder, but it allows me to get a bit more experience with him and get it confirmed for definite. There we go. Plus, by doing this, we can actually see what they've got inside the garrisons. So we can see Frot's army here, Storm Vermin, Clan Rats, Death Globes, and so on. And the garrison... Okay, it's a basic level tier 1. Okay, that should make things easy for us when we team up with Vlad. Alright, so that's you done, William. I'm gonna get William to... Wait, who are you guys? Vampire Clan Rebels. I'm gonna get William to go after this army here, first of all. Wait, why are you not... Oh yeah, because Margaret's been injured. Right. We'll have him go after this army first, and then what I'm going to do is try and bring him around here towards Montfort too. That way then we can have... probably have to end up going after the Wood Elves. It's a bit of a shame actually, but they do have a ton of armies, and if we want to wipe these out, yeah, we're going to have to deal with that. Plus, as time is getting on, I do want to try and go after Carcassonne, and we're going to need a few forces down there, I think. So, yeah, it would be in our best interest to do that. You guys are taking some attrition. That's really good to see. Right. Yeah, that should do. Okay, who hasn't moved yet? Dookie boy. Let's get you over towards here. And your job is to go after Fort Soll as soon as we can get into range. So you can march down to there. Everybody else now has moved, yes. Okay, we've got town 10,000. Let's have a look. In fact, if we come to Zufbar, let's go ahead and increase the binding circle so we can eventually increase our capacity. And we definitely do need a... where is it? Oh no, we've already got the reliquary, right. In that case, let's go ahead and get a spirit well for these guys. Quickly do our points. So Mina at this point will give you... we already got Dark Benediction, I'll just increase your armor some more. Aiden, I will now finally grant you immortality. Eustache, already done all of these, we'll just start going for Survivalist. Alright. One thing I wanted to check, just because it could be an interesting opportunity, we could actually get them to join us in Confederation.
Well, that's a different question.
Now bearing in mind, this is going to leave him very stranded, right? Surrounded by dwarves on one side, and what's down here? Just ruins. Probably an Inclan Moors. Oh no, it's Chaos Corruption. Maybe it's the Ugme tribe or something. I think it could be just a laugh to get their territory down here. You know what? Sure. There we go. Accepted the offer. Right, we'll go there and sort out the issue with things, because yeah, that's... we can't afford to keep these armies going. So, let's disband you first of all. Right, as for you... again, oops, disband you. Right, there you go. Obviously, it doesn't really make much sense, to be honest, but hey, it'd be a bit of a laugh, sure. In the meantime, we'll keep the rest of these. We'll get rid of that, just so we can get some extra defenses down. And yeah, that should be it. Oh, interesting. Tretch has actually come out to attack the Duke, and they managed to get an ambush. Okay. Well, I think it will be a good opportunity for us to end things here today. So next episode, we fight this battle with the Red Duke to, you know, survive the ambush. Ooh, excuse me, hiccup's about to kick in. Given what the enemy has at their disposal from when we fought the battle at Fort Soll, I think we'll be fine in this fight. But I'd rather have the numbers we need in order to take the fort in the following turn. After we've dealt with these guys though, we'll continue moving forces either to the north towards Beckerven to take out the remaining Imperial forces of Reichland, and we'll be taking forces then to go after the Wood Elves of Athelloren, as well as potentially Carcassonne. But that will be happening in the next episode. For now though guys, thank you very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and that you do join me next time of course, for some more Warhammer. But until then everybody, take care, stay safe, and goodbye for now.